In this chapter, we've focused on editing objects. Every object has properties like color, line type, length, layer, and much more. Different object types have different properties. One way to edit or manage those traits is through the Properties Manager palette. We talked about palettes in an earlier section, and we've used them a bit from time to time. But let's take a closer look at this one specifically, because you can use the Properties palette in many cases to edit your drawing. To open it up, press Ctrl and 1 at the same time. I have mine set to be docked here on the left, but you can pull it out and move it wherever you want. Click, hold, grab it, and then drop it. And you can move it to either side, top or bottom. You can click on the edge of it and hold that and stretch it up or down, left or right. You can hide it, move that around, or extend it out. Right click on it to get to a lot of these other things. You can even change the transparency of it. Just move it back to the side again and dock it if you'd like. And when you don't have any objects selected, the Properties palette gives you the current information about your drawing settings, at least some of them anyway. Right now we have nothing selected, and the default colors, if we were to draw something now, would be set to by layer. It's on layer 0. We have the line type scale, the line weight, thickness, etc. Our plot styles, our view, and different miscellaneous options about our UCS. Now, if we go over here and pick something, like this polyline, for instance, it tells us it's a polyline. What layer it's on, what color it is, its scale, its overall dimensions. We can get the area of this right here. It's in square inches or square feet for us, the total length, etc. That's very valuable information. Now I can change some of this. I can change its color right here. I can change the layer that it's on. I can change the line type. Etc. So that can be very useful. Sometimes you need to alter the properties of more than one object. For example, this text. When I've selected this text, I can click here to edit the contents of the text itself, make changes. I can change the style so that it looks different. I can change the height, the justification, etc. And I can always undo what I've done. Now let's say I want to change the text style of all of these labels. Well, I can pick them all, or just a few of them, and make those changes to them, all at the same time, which is very handy and very useful. You can select objects of different types. I'll show you by picking everything. The Properties palette will tell you how many items you've selected, in this case 301, and when I click on this box, it sorts out a list of all the different types and how many of those types I've selected. So I have 76 lines, 168 blocks, 16 text objects, etc. Now I can get very specific on what I'm working with. So if I want all of the lines, I can pick it in the drop-down list, and I can change the objects of just the lines. And as I move through this list, I get a preview of what it's going to look like in my drawing area before I make the change. And this is very useful. Through my quick select, I can also develop a filter, meaning though I've picked everything, let's say I only want all of the text objects. Open up the object type, select mText, and I pick one of the properties that are available to choose from. In this case, let's go color, and I want everything that equals by layer, and I'm going to include these objects in my selection. So if anything fits this filter criteria, I click OK, and these objects are selected, and it lets go of everything else. So if you need to find something like that, for example, let's say a block, that's this lighting block here. We find the name of it, It's called lighting fixture. Let's say I want to erase all of the lighting fixtures from my entire drawing. I can select everything. Click on my quick select option. Tell it block reference. And I go to name. From the name, I can select anything that's available to me in my selection. In this case, I want it to be the lighting fixture. I click OK. And then I see that that is all that I have selected. Press the delete key and they're all gone. So that's another way to select objects so that you can edit them. You can also get objects and change them with a properties palette. You can do specific kinds, or you can do everything at once.